Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am back with another very interesting SQL interview problem. So someone on LinkedIn sent me this problem and it was asked in a PayPal client interview, that person said. And here's the problem. So what I'm going to do, I will solve this problem with two methods, right? As you would have seen thumbnail, zindagi and mentos zindagi. And also I'm going to add some twist in the question. So I will not just solve the question with two method, but I will solve the original question as well as the twisted question with both the methods. So there will be four problems ultimately, right? So let's understand the problem and then I'm going to show you some trick which can save your time really. Okay, so watch this video. It is going to be very interesting video. Okay, so here's the question. So there are two tables: employee check-in details and employee details, right? So if you look at it, in the employee check-in details, we have employee ID, the entry details, and timestamp details. So basically, the employee ID 1000 logged in at this time. Then again, there is a login at this time, login, and there is a logout. Then similarly, for 1001, we have login, logout, and the timestamp of each transaction. Whenever there is a login, the time of that. Okay. Now there is another table, employee details, right? It has employee ID, phone number, and is default. So what it is telling, for each employee, what is the phone number? So this guy has three numbers, right? But only one is default. So this is his default number, right? And again, there is one more guy, 1003. He has only one number. He doesn't have any default number, right? So these are the two tables. So we have multiple phone numbers for each employee. There can be one or more, right? Now let's move on to the problem statement. So this is the problem statement. Write an SQL code to find output table as below. Employee ID, employee default phone number, right? For each employee ID, what is the default phone number? So for example, 1001, the default phone number will be 2222, right? For 1001, there is no, sorry, for 1000, there is no entry. So there is no default number, right? So this is how it is. Then we need total entry, right? How many total entries are there in this table for each employee? So for both of these employee, one, two, three, four entries are there, right? Then we have total logins. How many total logins are there, right? So three logins are there. Total logouts. How many total logouts are there? Then we have latest login, right? So for each employee ID, what is the latest login? So latest login is this in this case, right? Because last one is logout. Again, latest logout. What is the latest logout, right? So this is my latest logout, right? So this table we have to produce. Okay, so let me solve this question. Now, before we go into SQL Server, I want to tell you very interesting thing. So what happens when I get these kind of questions? I don't have a create table statement, insert table statement. I have to manually create the table and do all of that stuff. Instead of that, there is a very beautiful trick. So what I will do, I'll just copy this. Okay, and there's this website converttable.com CSV to SQL, right? So I just paste my data here, CSV data, right? I pasted the data and it will give me the create table statement. So if you see, here's the create table and it gave me the insert table, insert into the insert statements as well. So I can just directly copy and paste it into SQL Server, right? That's how it will happen. Also, currently it is giving create table name. So I want a specific name for my table, right? So I will say employee check-in details, right? So if I say, so it created create table this and this. Now we can validate if everything is fine or not. So if you look at it, employee ID is integer, which is fine. Employee details is varchar, which is also fine. Timestamp details it is taking as varchar. So we can change it to date time, right? So I'll just change it to date time. Okay, that's it. Now I will copy this, go to SQL Server, paste it, right? And then I will take the insert statements as well, and that's it, right? So it saved a lot of time for me. Execute, right? And execute, right? So this is done. Okay. Now next thing is I have another table. So I will do the same thing for another table. I'll just copy this. Go here, paste it, right? And go here. And I want to give some name to the table. I will say employee details. That's it, and it is all done. Now employee ID is integer, phone number is integer, and this is default, which is fine. So I'm good with this. I'll just copy this whole, okay, and we'll run this. Okay, we are all set. So let's start the solution. Okay, so let's do one by one. Select star from employee check-in details, right? This is my first table. Okay, so what we will do now, we are going to uh, we are going to get all the columns, and in the last we will work on employee default font, because this is coming from different table. So we will deal with it in the end. But firstly, all other things are coming from the first table, so we will get all of these things, right? Let me copy this to SQL Server, and we can work on it one by one. Okay, so default phone number we will see later. Let me put it in the end, and everything else we will do first. So let's start first solution with Aam Zindagi. Aam Zindagi means normal life, and Mentos Zindagi means exciting life, right? So normal life. Okay, so let's see how we can solve it. So what I need total login, right? Also, I need total logout, right? So for that, what I have to do to get the total logins for each employee ID, I need to first filter out data based on what is it, and then count it, right? So I will say from employee, right, where entry details equal to login, right? Right. With that, if I run this, I get only the login details. Now with that, I will get all the login related data. So I will say employee ID, right, comma. For each employee, I need total entries. So total entries will be total login entries plus logout entries. So for now, I will take it as I will have to add it. We'll get to it later. But let's find it out. Total logins, right? So total logins will be count of records, right? Count star as total logins, right? Similarly, when I create total logouts, so I will sum up total logins and logouts, and I will get the total entry, right? So I don't need this separately for now, but later when I join the login table and the logout table, that time I will do total logins plus total logout, and that will give me the answer. So this is done. Total logins, right? Let me put it same column name, total logins, right? Now what I need, I also need latest login. So I can just say max of timestamp details, right? Max of time stamp details, right? As latest login, right? This is my latest login, and that's it. These two things I need from this table, and I will do group by employee ID, right? So the answer will be there will be three login entries, total login. Maximum timestamp is for 1,000 employees 315, right? 315, and for this guy it is 315. For both of them it is 315. So let's run this, right? So they are total 3 login and 315, 315. So we got these two columns. Now similarly we will get the logout details. So I will say with logins as I'll create a CT, right? And I will create another CT, and I will say logouts as, right? So this will be my logouts. Okay. Okay. So now what I will do, I will just change login to logout, right? That's it. And then I will get total logout and latest logout, right? So if I run this query now, I got one, there is one logout and the latest logout time. In our table, there is only one logout, but even if there are more, this will work for us seamlessly, right? Now what I have to do, I need all these columns together. So I will join these two tables, these two CTs. So I will say select from logins, right? I will say A inner join. I can do inner join because for each login there will be a logout as well. We are assuming, but let's say such situation is this, we might not have logouts, then we will do left join, right? In that case we can do left join if there is a case that we won't have logouts, but in our case it is there, so we are using inner join. Okay, so logouts B on A dot employee ID equal to B dot employee ID, right? Now what I need, I need A dot employee ID comma A dot total login, right? Comma A dot latest login, right? Comma B dot latest total logout and B dot total sorry latest logout, right? Yeah, total logout and latest logout. So we need all these details and we got it. And we are just going to run this query now. Okay, so let's see. We need employee ID, right? Total entry. How we will get total entry? I will come to it. Total login we got, right? There are three login. Total logout we got. There is one logout. Latest login we got. And latest logout we got. Right now, two columns are pending. Total entry. Total entry in this table will be total logins plus total logout. So I can say this total login A dot total login plus B dot total logout as total entry, right? So this will give me total entry, right? So if I run this, I got the answer, right? I have two rows for each employee, right? Let's work on the employee default phone number and then we will see how there will be another solution, the simpler solution for this problem. Okay. So default phone number is coming from another table which is this table, right? Employee details. So select star from employee details. Okay. So I will join this table with here, right? If I join on the employee ID here, I will get the phone number. Let's do it. So I'm going to do the left join because we see for some of the employees we don't have phone number. So I'm going to do a left join. So I will say left join employee details, right? Let's say C on A dot employee ID equal to C dot employee ID, right? So I will just join it and what I will get? I will get a column from this table. So I will say C dot phone number, right? Also, let me get it C dot is default for now, right? Let's run this and see what we have. So you see, we have multiple records for each employee. For employee 1001, we have multiple records because there are three records in employee details table, right? In employee details table, if we go back, there are three records for 1001. So each record is getting joined. So that's why we have three records. So what I have to do, I need only the default one. So the is default should be true. Only that record I need. So if I put this filter here, where, right, this is a very important concept now, where C dot is default equal to true, right? This I need, right? So if I run this, let's see what will happen. What will happen? Only this record will come, right? The 1001 is not coming, and that's the problem. You see, 1000 is gone because I am saying is default equal to true. Now for that guy, is default is not there, right? Default phone number is not there, so that phone number is going itself, and which is not correct. So what I will do, instead of putting this is default here, there is one other option. I can say or C dot is default is null, right? In that case, if someone doesn't have the default phone number, those guys will also come, right? So this guy is coming now. That is one way of doing it, but it is not a good way because see, left join happens first and then the where clause, right? So the moment I do left join, I have multiple records, right? There are four records. Instead of two records, I have four records. So this is not a performant thing. And on top of it, it will apply a where filter. So instead of this, what I will do, I will put this filter here itself. Where when I'm joining on this table, I will say and C dot is default equal to true. So what it will do, it will filter the data from this table. Only this row it will get, right? It will just filter and get me only is default equal to true and then do a left join, right? After that, I don't have to care about anything else because I'm doing a left join only with that one record that join will happen and other will be null, right? So there is no default number for this guy, so it is coming as null. Okay, so this is the advantage of putting this filter within the left join, right? You can consider that as if you are writing a subquery here where you are filtering data on is default equal to true and only on that you are doing a left join and everything is working fine now. Okay, so I hope you understood it. Okay, now let's solve this question with the mentos zindagi. Okay, in mentos zindagi, let's see what we can do. Let's try to so again forget about the phone number for now. We will see, we will get other columns first. So let's start from employee check-in details. Okay, so again what I need to do now, I need employee id definitely in the output, right? Okay. Now what I will do, I need total check-ins, right? First of all, total entry I can get simply by using count here. I'm not going to filter anything. Counter at total entry, right? So this is my total entry group by employee ID. Okay. This is I got the total entry, right? This is fine. This is fine. Okay. I'm not going to put a where filter, so it is fine here. Okay. So this is my total entry. Now what I'm going to do is let me comment it for now. I want to show a few things. Okay. So I will put a case statement here. Okay, so whenever entry details is login, I want to consider as logins, and if entry details is logout, I want to have a separate columns for those. So let's do it. So I will say is when I will create a separate column for logins and logouts. Case when entry details equal to login, then then timestamp, right? Okay, else null and okay. Similarly, as logins. Similarly, I will create one more column, right? Case when entry detail equal to logout and timestamp depend else and as logouts. So I created separate columns for logout and login. Logouts. Okay. So let's see how it looks like. Let me select star only for now, just to have better understanding and run this. I'm not doing group by anything, just created two new columns. Okay, so if you look at it here, I have two different columns now, right? For logins, these are the times, and this is null, right? Because this is a logout. So now in logout column, these three columns are null, these three rows are null, only logout values there. And similarly for the other employee, right? I hope you understand this, right? Now what I will do, I'll just do this. So I will say count of this, right? So when I do count of this column group by employee id, it will count as 3 because nulls are not counted, right? Nulls are not counted. So timestamp details only for 3 employees it is there, only 3 rows it is there, so it will give me the latest login time, right? Because this is null. sorry, count. It will give me count 3, right? It will give me count 3. So when I'm doing count and case when, because this is null, it will give me count as 3. Similarly for this one, it is giving me 3. Similarly for log out, when I do count for employee ID 1000, it will give me 1, not 4, right? So let me do it. So I will say count. Okay, so this will be total logins, right? And this will be total logouts. Okay, I hope this is clear. So let's run this. So I will say employee ID, right? Okay. One more thing before I do this, what also we can do, I'll just copy this and I can also take the max, right? And it will become my latest login, isn't it? It will just check in the logins what is the maximum value. This I have set it as null already, right? So this will become latest login, right? And this will become my latest logout. Latest logout, right? Similarly, latest login and latest logout. Yeah, yeah, this is fine. Okay, I think the spelling is wrong. Okay, okay, fine. So let me run this now. So if you see, we get latest login for this guy and latest logout for this guy, right? This is all fine. Again for 1001, we got everything. Also now at this point, we can take the total entries as well. So we got everything except the phone number, which we will work on now. But we got it, right? We got this thing. Now what we can do, right? This is the same thing. So let's see what all columns we need. Employee ID, total login we have, total logouts we have, latest logout, latest login, and total entry. So we have all the columns, only the phone number we need. So for phone number, we will do the same thing here. I am just going to do a join, right? Left join, employee details C on A dot employee ID. Let me make it as A. Okay, equal to C dot employee ID and C dot is default equal to true, right? And let me put it as A dot, and I will take C dot phone number, right? C dot phone number. My bad. Phone number, right? This is what I need. So there will be always be a one phone number with the default value as true, and that is all. Now I have to just add this in the group by as well, and that's all. Right? So I got 2222, and for this guy we don't have a default number, it is null, right? Now I'm going to add a twist in this. I'll just show you. But you see this, that how we reduce the query. So this is a big query. There are two CTs, there is a join operation, right? It takes lot of memory and CPU utilization to do these things. But here it is so cool. I have not created any CTs, I have not created any joins. It is just I am working with case when and the aggregate functions. So this is the beauty of case when along with aggregate function. You can do a lot of things with the minimum number of code. Okay. Okay. Now here's the twist. In that twist, I will solve it in with the normal life. You have to solve it with mentos zindagi, right? So what I'm going to do in that twist, I'm going to add one more column in this table. Okay. So let me take this and okay. So this is my table. I'm going to add one more column, date added, all added on. So basically what I'm saying okay, on which date employee added this number in the directory, right? So let me put some arbitrary number, 2023 uh, 0101. Okay, let me copy this one. Okay. Also, I'm going to change data a little bit. So let's keep it. Let's keep it two. Let's keep it three. And we have a guy 1000, right? Let's keep it 1000 so that we can understand how it is working, right? So I will do this, and I will add this, right? So this is my 3333. I will do 4444, and this is false. So these both are false, and this is one. This is right? This is the data. So basically what I did for the 1000 guy, I added two phone numbers, right? Both are false, right? And for this guy, two are false, one is true, and we have added on new column. So let's go down, and again here this guy understands, and this is a varchar. We will make it date, and our uh, table name will be this employee details, right? It is already there, which is fine. So I'm going to create this again. Just copy this, and what I will do, I will create this table again. So I'll say drop table, right? And create it again. Okay, cool. So we are all set. We are all set, and here's the twist. From what I want now, the twist is that we have to get the default phone number for the employee, right? That is fine. But the twist is, if there is no default phone number for the employee, get the latest one added, right? So for this guy, we have the default number, and I will get 2222. But for this guy, I don't have a default. In that case, I have to get the latest number that he has added. So the latest number is based on the date added on, right? So for this guy, I should get 4444. Okay. So this is my problem. Okay. What I will do now? Let's do this with normal life, and let's see if you can solve it with Mentos Zindagi with some easy solution. Okay. Okay, so what I will do, I will say left join this. Okay, also I will create one more. So wherever true is there, give me all the phone numbers wherever it is true. But also I will get wherever it is false in a separate column. Okay, and one more thing I am going to do is, so whenever it is a false, I need only the latest data, not everything, right? Whenever it is false, I need the latest data only. So let me run the query. Select star from employee details, right? And I will say where is default equal to false, right? So with that, I will get only the false ones, right? Within this, I will get the latest information. So I will say row number, right? Over partition by employee ID, right? Order by added on descending, right? As RN. Okay, so this is done. Let me run this and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so if you see, whatever is the latest record, for that we are getting rank one, right? This is my latest record for this employee, because I am doing a partition by an employee ID. So for each employee ID, it is giving me 1 and 2, and I'm doing added on descending. So the latest added on will get rank 1. So for both the employees, we are getting 1 2 1 2. Now from this, I need only the latest record, right? So I will say select star from this guy, right? Where Rn equal to 1, and this will give me only what is required, right? So for 1000 employees, I don't need this, but I am just getting that for the false is default false, what are the latest values, right? So this is my, for 1000 employees I have the 4444, for 1001 we have 1111. Okay, so what I will do now, I will use this as a subquery, or let me create a CT of it. Okay, so let me create a CT fonts, fonts as. Okay, so this is my CT. I got the fonts, right, and I'm going to do a join on fonts as well now. So I will do fonts instead of employee details. So this I have done is default equal to true is already done. Now for fonts, right? Let's say it is D, and I will say D dot A dot employee ID equal to D dot employee ID, right? And this is anyway we have filtered, so we don't have to worry about it. We are anyway taking only is default equal to false, right? I'll just remove this filter. Okay, and let's get some more columns in the output so that we understand what is happening. So what I will do, I'll just go here and take uh, c dot phone number comma d dot phone number, right? And let's run this quickly. Okay, so if you see, we are getting a phone number null for this guy, right? Because this is coming from the default phone number, right? And in this, okay, let me rename it so that it makes sense as default number as not default. Okay, so run this again. Right? So we got default number as null for this guy. For because for 1000 guy we don't have a default number, so it is coming as null. And for 1001 we are getting the default. But the non-default is there for both of them. But what we want if default is there then default. If default is not there then not default should come. Yeah, that's what we want. So what I will do, I will just use a coalesce here. So I will say coalesce, right? If the default number is there, then take it. Otherwise, take d dot phone number. Right? That's what we want as phone, whatever. Right? I can remove this. Now, if I run this, I will get the required output as per my requirement, right? So I got 4444 because for this guy we didn't have the default number, so we got latest non-default, and for this guy we had the default number, so we are getting 2222, right? You can look at the data as well. So if you look at the data for this guy, right, we don't have a default number, so we got 4444, which is latest, right? 4444. And for this guy, we have the default number 2222. So we got 2222. Even if the default number is before the this one, we will still get the default one, right? Because we are giving preference to this. Okay. I hope it makes sense. Now, what you have to do, you have to find a smart way to solve this trick, the last thing, to get the non-default number. Okay, let me know in the comment section. Also, please do subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Have a great day.